I'm out of it. If you're a writer, you're tucked away in a room, getting on with the job, and you leave the effects of the things you write to the reader, to the publicist, to the filmmaker, and so forth. The writer's job is to write. It's a matter of getting a typewriter and putting some paper in it, bring words on the paper.
And you would claim that your responsibility, therefore, ends there?
Well, this is a big question. I wrote this damned thing. I'm sick of it, I'm sick of this bloody book, A Clockwork Orange. I wrote it in 1961, which is a long time ago. A new generation has grown up since then, which apparently has been influenced by the book or by Kubrick's film. But when I wrote it, it was an exercise in the use of words. It was an attempt to take a theme which is as old as the hills, and for some reason we all reject it nowadays. And the theme is preached in churches every Sunday morning, or probably should be, and that is that man ate the forbidden fruit, man decided to turn against good, and man was born, and is still born, presumably, in original sin. And all I mean by original sin is that history shows us that given an opportunity to do good or to do evil, man will usually do evil. And it's no good blaming it on other people. This film has been blamed, the effects of this film have been blamed on the maker Stanley Kubrick, on me, but all I did and all he did was to show what people are really like. That we're prone to evil. If you announced tomorrow night that there would be a sacrificial burning of heretics, or lions would be brought in the studio and chase the viewers out, people would be delighted. They'd far prefer that to, say, a performance of Twelfth Night or Antony and Cleopatra. And people are like that, whether they...
Or Anthony Burgess talking about Clockwork.
Well, indeed, quite so, yes.
But now, look, you've in your life, and you talked very persuasively at that moment about it, you in your life have actually come face to face with an exposition of personal evil against you or your family.
Oh, indeed, I have. I think we all have. But my first wife, who is now dead, was dead primarily because of such an attack as is presented in this film and in the book I wrote. Indeed, the writing of the book was an attempt to exorcise, to use a very popular word now. Everybody knows what exorcise means because of this damn film. Bad film, incidentally.
A bad film?
I think it's a bad film, Exorcise, because it plays with evil. It plays around with evil instead of really getting to grips with what it's all about. But anyway, it's the word I'm concerned with, exorcise, to drive out the nightmares which followed on this particular event in my wife's life and a second move in mine by writing a book about it.
Would it pain you to rehearse the details of your wife's
No, it doesn't pain me now. She's dead. She's resting in the earth, and it's all over. But in England during the war, we had a great number of soldiers who were deserted. They were usually foreign soldiers, like Americans or Poles, and they lived on their wits and they robbed people. And my wife was engaged on. She was working for the Ministry of War Transport, engaged on the victualling of the ships for D-Day, working very hard. And coming out of her office late one evening, she was attacked by 4 American soldiers who were not attempting sexual assault, but merely wanted to rob her. They stole her handbag, and they tried to take her wedding ring off. Well, this was the final enormity. I was abroad in the army, and this wedding ring meant a great deal. She screamed, and they hit her to stop her screaming, and they beat her about. She was carrying our child at the time. She lost the child. She was ill ever after and died prematurely. Now, this could happen to anybody. I'm making no special case about it at all, but it is a fact that however we pretend that life is all roses and honey, life can be pretty evil on occasions. And it's no good blaming anybody except man himself. We're all like that. Given the chance, we'll all be like that.
Do you blame individual man, each individual man, or can you blame the
I blame collective man. I blame man as an animal. The fact is that this is no theory. This is no special kind of theological or moral pleading. History shows that given an opportunity, man will do evil. Man goes on doing evil, and our problem is to learn how to live with it. It's not to pretend that there are solutions. There's no political solution, there's no moral solution. In this film, Clockwork Orange, we've seen how a young man is turned into a moral citizen, a model citizen by being brainwashed and by being made sick, by being made nauseous by the very thought of evil. This is the state taking over. If the state did take over, and the state can take over, God knows, then we would have a beautiful society in which nobody could do wrong. But if a man cannot do wrong, he cannot do good. Because good is defined in terms of wrong, and wrong is defined in terms of good. It's a matter of choice.
Is good the only corollary of evil?
It's not a corollary, it's an opposite. Good and evil are a pair. They, in a sense, are locked together. If we're incapable of doing evil, we're incapable of doing good, because good is only defined in terms.
Right, but wait a minute. Is there something between good and evil, which we
Yes,
like being, like not doing anything?
the sheer neutrality, which I think England, my own country, has opted for. Neutrality.
Does neutrality equal boredom?
We sit back and wait for things to happen. We don't think that we ourselves have any responsibility to make things happen. We think it's a prerogative of the economists or of the politicians, who are straw men. Let's be honest, all politicians are straw men. Any man who enters politics at all, does so because he has no capacity for doing anything else.
Do you mean all politicians?
All politicians are bad men. They're not evil men, they're not good men, they're just neutral men who deal with abstractions.
That's a harsh thing to say in the middle of an election campaign, isn't it?
It's a true thing to say. It's a thing that I think most people would agree with, that politicians have proved they have no answers to the problems we're going through, either the moral problems, the problems of hooliganism at football matches, the problems of rape, the problems of inflation. Therefore, the answers to these problems must lie somewhere in the individual mind, must lie in me, in you, in everybody.
But look, wait a minute, hold on. Are you contemptuous of politicians?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Rightly so, because I live in Italy and I see politics at its worst.
But why? How can you be contemptuous of people who are striving, or may be striving, to bring some solution to the problems you've outlined?
Because they're only striving in terms of abstract party programs. And I think most people who listen to the politicians now in this pre-election period are aware that everything that's said by the Conservatives, by the Labour candidates and by the Liberals is said in terms of an abstract party program which has little relationship to the actual facts of living. This has always been so, and I see it even more so in Italy, where I live at the moment, because there everything one says. I, as a writer, give an interview to the press, and I say, I do not like Pope John very much. I think Pope John was probably a bad pope. Immediately, in the paper the following day, Burgess is a fascist. It has to be translated immediately into political terms, and these abstract terms are so easy. They're so simple. It's so delightful to be able to convert everything into the terms of an abstract policy, which history proves, our own experience proves, makes no difference to the actual situation.
But are you not, at this moment, very eloquently speaking from a position of privilege? I mean, you're an intelligent gentleman, and you're a writer. You've been able to sharpen your wits on your pen, or the other way around.
Yes.
Is it not
This
necessary?
is no privilege. This is no privilege at all.
No, but you're speaking from a position of intellectual privilege in a way, aren't you?
Is this so? We all have intellects. We're all the same.
But not the people who buy newspapers which have banner headlines, which has to reduce words and concepts to simple things like Burgess is a fascist.
They don't have to do that. People don't have to do that. The choice is ours. I go back to the theme of this film, Clockwork Orange. The choice is always ours. It is no good our pretending that the privilege of thought is given to others and not to ourselves. This is an easy cop-out. We ourselves have the right and, moreover, the duty to decide things for ourselves. This we're unwilling to do.
But do you enjoy putting flesh and muscle onto people?
It's my career. It's my métier.
I mean, for instance, Napoleon.
Yes.
I was lying in bed last night, reading alone, thinking to myself, if only I'd known when I was at school, sitting in history lessons, something of what you have created around Napoleon to make him come bursting out alive, that he was a lecher, that he had bad breath. Are all these checkable facts?
Oh, indeed they are, yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So you don't take license too far in it?
One has to take license a little far. If one is a novelist, one's great joy is in creation and not copying. If one has to have the texts of historians, documents and so forth around one while one is writing, one's flow is inhibited. One is far happier creating than merely copying. But this picture of Napoleon you get in this book, which is published today, is a true picture. Unfortunately, Napoleon has been falsified. We've seen films with Charles Boyer in them and Marlon Brando, which Napoleon is presented as a great lover. But he wasn't a great lover. He was a very inferior lover.
Was he impotent in any way?
He was not impotent. There was plenty of flow there. But this was true of the entire family. The entire family was sex mad, especially his sisters and even his mother. But he himself had little time for these things. He had to create a new Europe. And he was too quick on the job, if I may use a colloquialism. A girl would be brought into the imperial tent during the Russian campaign, and he would say, just a minute, I've got to sign this document, and then sign it, and then go in with a sword in the sheath into this girl, and then out 3 minutes later and on with the next document. Well, that is not a great lover, in my opinion. And yet we like to believe that as he excelled in the art of politics, the art of military leadership, he must have excelled in love. No, he was a failure. And if he had been a great lover, he probably would not have been a great general. Anybody who likes to make love has no time for anything else, as I have found.
To your cost or to your profit?
Or to my profit.
Good, good. For a man who how many years ago now, was suffering what I presume was, if you don't think this impertinent, the sentence of death.
Yes, indeed.
Passed on you. You were told that you had a brain tumour.
Yes.
And that you were expected to live for what, a year?
A year, just about a year. Yes.
How long ago was that?
This was in 1959. That's rather a long time ago. And I was working in the Far East. I was working in Borneo, and I was told that I seemed to have a tumour on the brain. And I came home to England, and the diagnosis made in the tropics was confirmed in London. And I was told that nothing could be done about it. The thing was inoperable, and they would give me, out of their munificence, 12 months to live. Now, you know, the normal response to this in works of fiction is horror, and allied with the horror, as in a film made by Bette Davis, another film made by Alec Guinness, is a certain sum of money tucked away, so that the final year will be a year of love, of seeing the world, of enjoying oneself. Now, this didn't happen to me. I had no money. I had no job. I couldn't go to a school and say, I'd like to work as a teacher. And they'd say, how long do you expect to stay with us? And I would tell them, and they'd say, there's no future in it. So I had to become a writer. Writing is the last resort of people who can't do anything else. So in that terminal year, I wrote 5 novels. This was the beginning of a career which has been marked, some critics say, by overproduction. But this was the beginning, and I, in a sense, knew that I'd live when I went on living.
Is that also when you began to talk? I mean, did you talk as volubly and as articulately in that?
I'm not a great talker. I talk very little in English, This is the first time I've spoken English at any length. And I'm not even sure whether idiom at any length is correct. Is it? I'm not for some time. I live in Italy. My wife is Italian, and we speak Italian in the home. And it's rather curious. I approach English now as something of a foreign language, and I'm not quite sure whether some of the things I say are right.
Is it a pleasurable exercise for you to speak
English?
English?
It's a lovely language.
Yeah.
But I don't say, this spaghetti is good. I say, these spaghetti are good. Which is very Italian.
They behooves, indeed. You frightened me, talking of food, you frightened me to death in one of the things you have written, by suggesting that all of us, me in particular, may end up in a tin of meat on a supermarket shelf before...
Yes, well, that is a film that you may expect to see in the next year or so. The book I wrote in the same year as Clockwork Orange was another vision of the future. I fear that the vision in the Clockwork Orange has, to some extent, come true. Unlicensed unbridled hooliganism in the streets of our cities. But the book I published in the same year was called The Wanting Seed, and this dealt with a problem I'd seen very much in the Far East, and especially in India. The problem we're all aware of. We haven't enough to eat. Soon there will not be enough to eat. Our food supplies are not keeping pace with the growth in population. And this book is about what our future may be like. And our future may consist of artificial wars with no ideological purpose. We're not getting the Jews out of concentration camps. We're not freeing the world from communism. We're just setting up possibly one arbitrary army against another for the sake of the protein contained in those armies. That we will use the dead bodies produced from artificial wars to feed ourselves. That we will go to our supermarkets and see on the shelves tins of mensch, for example, and these tins of mensch will prove to contain animal protein, animal fat, sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, etc., and we will very quickly get used to eating this. There's a book out written about the curious Andes experience of the survivors there. Remember the airplane crash? Who ate each other, who ate the corpses of those who were less lucky than themselves. And this book is sold very well. A book called Alive by Piers Paul Reed.
Have you read it?
I've read it, and a lot of people have read it, and I know why they've read it. It's because they recognize that this is a situation germane to our own future. We cannot go on not eating each other.
Are you thinking in a way that the taboo will already begin to be cracking?
It's not a very heavy taboo, because when all's said and done, in the Catholic Church, if not in the Church of England, every Sunday there is celebrated the Eucharist, which is, in effect, in so many words, the eating of the body and blood of Christ. We're used to this concept, if nothing else, even if we do it in under the disguise of these two simple elements. But we may well have to do it. And if we have to do it, I don't think we'll find it too difficult.
Well, okay, I may say to you in finality, if you go before I do, I will go around to my supermarket with a small posy of flowers and put it on your tin in memory of the conversation. I was going to say conversation we've had tonight. In fact, it's been a monologue almost.
Oh my God, I do apologise.
No apology required, and thank you extremely, Anthony Burgess.
Thank you very much.